How's it going? Just having a bit of a chill time here in my little food forest garden. This garden, in its entirety, the way it is now, is about almost a year and a half old. It's a perennial based system that I'm pretty much just letting grow how it wants to grow. I'm learning some very interesting things by doing that. The way this is now, I'm modelling it on natural methods, natural environments, how things grow in those sorts of situations. But every plant in this garden is edible, or it produces food. It's very exciting, and I'm learning lots of wonderful things. Because this system, even though it's based on natural principles, there's still a human influence involved in creating all of this. It also requires a fair bit of work, a fair bit of thinking, and a fair bit of organisation to create that unorganised chaos as these type of gardens grow into maturity. So this massive green that you can see on the ground here is a cucamelon, or many little cucamelon plants that have just been allowed to self-seed in this area. When this structure here was a chicken house, I actually had these little cucamelons planted around about down there somewhere where the ginger is, and they trailed up the chicken house, and they provided a lot of sun protection for those chickens in the summer. And as a plant it grew quite well, but I had it trained up trellises and all these sorts of things. It worked okay. But look at how this grows when it's left to grow naturally and how it wants to. It's just gorgeous. I can stick my hand in here. Look how deep my arm goes down. That's how thick it is. It's absolutely glorious. It loves trailing across the ground, and it's only a gentle plant. If it engulfs something, it's very simple to remove. Look at that. No worries. Just let a little bit more sunlight in there for the little pineapple. So it's not a strong plant, but when this does eventually die back in winter, look at how much organic matter is going to be left on this ground. Absolutely loads of it, and that's a good thing. It'll all die, it'll all get sent back to the ground, back to the earth, and to provide nutrients for this soil. Next year, as these little fruit here decay, seeds will be dispersed, and there'll be a lot of seeds next year from this plant, but I don't mind. They'll just regrow and they'll just continue this. Isn't that just wonderful? Absolutely no work from me. I don't have to plant them. They're providing protection and shelter for my other plants, and they produce food. What a champion little plant. Cucamelons. One thing I am finding that's very important though is the amount of sunlight that you allow into these type of systems. Because they are a food producing plant, they need that sunlight, and many plants need a lot of that sunlight to create that fruit. So when you're planting these sorts of systems, really allow for that sunlight to come through. Think down the track, 5, 6, 7 years down the track. Think about how big that tree is going to get, and you can do that by just researching how big that tree gets. Pretty simple. So you look over the long term, and you actually think about how much space that tree or that plant is going to take up in your garden area. So for the sake of this little Wirtz avocado here behind me, it's a little champion, it's a little dwarf. And I've put it in the ground about maybe a little bit over a year ago. And it's absolutely tripled in size this year. Now I've never sheltered this plant, I've never protected it from the direct sun. What I have done though with these little avocados, actually all of my little avocados on this property, is I've protected them from the wind. So what I've found, I don't mind the sun. You throw a lot of sun at them if you do it gently and over time. What they don't like is that wind, those strong, hot, drying winds, because it is a tropical tree. This is a black sapote, one of the more tropical plants in this area. He's been in the ground about just a little bit over a year now, I think. He's just thrown lots of new leaves. He's starting to become established, which is a good thing. So this year coming up, it should absolutely triple in size. I did a video a few months ago about a little Appleseed that my wife had found in an apple and I was growing a little taproot. Did a little video on it, thought it was a pretty cool thing to see. And this is the result of that same little seed that wanted to grow inside an apple. So, very strong fight for survival, this little plant, and it's growing quite happily too. I've got it in full sun, produced it slowly. It's doing wonderful. Things growing from seed. Could have thrown that little seed away, just forgotten about it. Instead I planted it, and look what I got to show for it. Little apple tree. Here's my little pineapple patch. I've harvested quite a few this year, I think 3 or 4 just out of this little section here. I've got them spread all over the garden. There's a lychee tree. It was produced by an air layer, and it's absolutely tripled in size too this year. It's like that little avocado tree. They've just become established and their roots are now in the ground and biting into natural soil. It's in a position that's very similar to this banana here. All of that moisture, as it seeps down the hill, sort of collects in this part of the yard as it works its way down that way. So these little lychees I've found, they really benefit from that additional moisture. And once again with this plant, I've never protected it, I've never kept it out of the sun, I've given it full sun. But like the avocados, I protect them from the wind. Wind I find is more damaging to tropical trees than what sun is. They absolutely hate that strong drying wind, and that's something with all fruit trees that you've got to try and stay on top of. So as I've planted my little tropicals within this area, I've also tried to incorporate larger, faster growing plants to protect them from that wind so they can become established. Once they become established, they become a lot stronger and a lot tougher and quite more tolerant of those extreme conditions. Here's a carambola starfruit. You're loaded. See fruit. Fruit everywhere. Look at that. Absolutely everywhere. And it's a gorgeous tree, this thing. It was one of the first trees I put on this property. It's been in the ground about 2 years from a tiny little plant way down there somewhere. This is a white sapote. It's grown from seed as well. And in this last year, it's come along in leaps and bounds and absolutely tripled in size. Now there's a little saying with fruit trees, is the first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. I'm finding it to be a pretty accurate description of how all of this works. Don't expect miracles in the first year, don't even expect them in the second year, but in the third year you'll start seeing the results like this. Now this here, it's coming up to being about 1.5 years old. And it's doing some wonderful things. So it's very exciting. So, thanks for watching. Keep growing, no matter where you are in the world. I hope you are growing food, because it's a wonderful thing. And, thanks for watching, I'll see you later.